Hello again and welcome to class. I want to believe that you've been learning something since we began this class, and you have been practicing the Hebrew alphabet that we have studied together. So today we are going to be looking at the different types of Hebrew letters or Hebrew alphabet. Of course, I have introduced us to the first type while I was introducing the Hebrew alphabet. I'm going to make mention of it again, and then we are also going to proceed together to see the different types of the remaining letters. All right. The first, which I said I mentioned, are the silent letters. And like I said, there are just two. We have the Aleph and the Ayin. The Aleph and Ayin. Or let me write from right to left. But since I'm writing from left to right, let me leave it. The Aleph and the Ayin. These are the two silent letters. They are always silent. If they appear at the beginning of a word, then you know that the word starts with a vowel. You are going to pronounce the vowel and then the other letters. If they appear in the middle of the word, they stand as a pause like a short pause in the word. And at the end of the word, they are silent also. So they're always silent. Now, like I said, it is believed that they were pronounced before. This letter will be introducing us to the second letters. All right. They used to have a pronunciation before, but later the pronunciation was lost. And then we don't know how it is pronounced again. So they're just silent letters. That will introduce us to this second type of letters, which are what we call the guttural letters. The guttural letters. Now, the guttural letters are 5 in number. We have 5 guttural letters. Number 1 is the Aleph. Number 1 is the Aleph. Right? Let's just continue with this. Number 2 is Ayin. Number 3 is Resh. That's the R. Right? Number 4 is Hey. Number 5 is Kate. So these are the 5 guttural letters. Now, what are guttural letters? Guttural letters are letters that have a distinct way of pronouncing them because they are usually pronounced using the throat. All right, from the throat. They are pronounced from the throat. So they are difficult to pronounce for non-native speakers like those of us learning. All right, so it's also one of the reasons why these 2 letters could be lost. All right, but this one we can still pronounce it. This is Rish. Right, in English is Har. Okay, you get. This is Hey, and this is Kit. This has a very you know it's not funny, but unique way of pronunciation. And like I said, in the word Ruach, this is the last letter there. So that's actually how it's pronounced. All right. Like if you want to say the word darkness, Koshek. Right. So Koshek. So it's like that. And then, of course, we have seen Hey when we're looking at the name of God, right? So these are the guttural letters. They are guttural letters. They are pronounced from the throat. Now we have what we call the alternate letter. The alternate letter. All right. And the alternate letters are letters that have two ways of pronouncing them, depending whether there is a dagesh in the middle of the letter or not. Remember that we spoke about um what's it called now? Dagesh. All right, when I was introducing us to the second letter, which is bait. Do you remember? When it has dagesh, it makes B. Without dagesh, it makes V. That's the same thing for pay. With dagesh, it sounds P. Without dagesh, it sounds PH or F. Like F. Do you understand? So they change their pronunciation depending whether there is a dagesh in them. In other words, it means that only these letters that I want to mention are the letters that changes form when they find the dagesh in them. So if you see the video on dagesh, you're going to see the two types of dagesh that we have. And then you know that if you find dagesh in any other letter, they don't change form. They don't change, not form, they don't change their sound. The sound remains the same. Only this letter I'm going to write. Number one is bait. All right? Bait. So these alternate letters too, they are divided into two. All right, we have the noticeable and we have the non-noticeable or unnoticeable. In other words, we have the letters that with the dagesh, the change in the sound is very much noticeable. For example, is the bait to vate, very noticeable. All right, but you have those that are not noticeable. So we're going to write the three noticeable first before we go to the unnoticeable. So number one is bait. All right, with dagesh, it sounds B. Without dagesh, it sounds V. All right. Number two is gimel. So, okay, we are writing the noticeable first. Okay. Okay, let me write everything. There's a reason how to write everything. It's for quick remembrance. Then I'll now divide it to noticeable and unnoticeable. So number two is gimel. All right. Gimel. Number three is dalet. Dalet. Number four is calf. All right. Number five is pay. And number six is tav, the last letter. Tav. So they are called alternate letter. So the reason why I wrote them like this is because there is also a nickname that has been given to the letter. We call them the Biged Kafate letter. The Biged Kafate letter. How? Remember that this is bait, right? This is B. This is G. This is D. This is K or C. This is P or F without dagesh. And this is T. Sorry, this is T. All right. So I think my marker is low. So this is B, B, G, D, K, F, T. Those are the letters. All right. So for us to be able to pronounce it together, we now added some vowels which are not there, just so that I can pronounce it. B, G, D, K, F, T. So B, Ged, Ka, Fet. All right. So it helps you remember Biget Kafet. B, remember that there is B, that's bait. Get, remember that there is Gimel, that's G. Get, remember that there is D, that's Dalet. All right. Kafet, remember that there is Kaf. Remember that there is Pay for Fet. Remember that there is Tav. So it helps you remember it clearly. All right. So we have the noticeable, of course. Let me write it. The noticeable from the ones that are not noticeable. Of course, you know that the first noticeable is our base. All right. The next one is the pay. The pay. With dagesh, it sounds P. Without dagesh, it sounds F. Do you get it now? Very clear, very noticeable. All right. The third one is our calf. All right. The calf, although is not is classified among noticeable, but for someone like myself who is not really good with sound, not like that very good with sound, it may not be noticeable when I pronounce it. All right, with that, I guess it sounds calf. I don't know. Just look at it like if there's a difference between the pronunciation of K and C. Do you get now? That's why I told you that this is translated as C sometimes and it's translated as K. Do you understand? So just see, that's how you should see calf. All right. So these are the three noticeable. Why the ones that are not noticeable? It means that whether there's a dagesh or not, although it changes sound, but it does not show in your hearing. Like you cannot really know if it has changed the sound. That's gime. Because G, it remains G, still sound G, but a more harder G. That's just the difference. All right. So it's like I said, there are some things that only native speaker can still, do better. So we have the G, okay, and then we have the dalet. Micah is tired. We have the dalet. We have the dalet. Let me clean this and write this. We have the gimel. It's not always this long, but I'm doing this so that you can see the difference in the letters. We have the gimel, we have the dalet, and we have the tav. So you don't really notice them, but they change sound. All right, just slightly, but they change sound. Those are the 6 letters. So when you are pronouncing them, you might pronounce them the exact way, but these ones, particularly these two, cannot be pronounced to sound exactly the same. All right. Now that brings us to the next type of letter. So let me clean all of this and write that, because they will need us to be writing it again and again. Now, that's number 4 types of letter. We call them D final letters. We have letters that changes their form. Now, don't get it twisted. Alternate letters are letters that changes their sound or pronunciation, depending whether there is a dagesh in the letter or not. All right? But now, let me quickly say this concerning that. Remember, we were looking at the name have. All right? We have. Because there was no dagesh, we have. And then you remember that I said the name of God is Haba. I mean, people say father means Haba. This is father in Hebrew, but people say it is Haba, even in your Bible. Haba, father. So the question, the reason is this. Now, if you see the video on dagesh, you are going to also get to see it better. I'm also going to I will explain it better there. But before then, let me also explain it here. You have bait here, all right, without a dagesh, okay. But now in Hebrew, you don't, for a word to be pronounceable, okay, you need to have a consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. So the letters are written and pronounced like this. For example, now, down this way, for example, down this way, you have the word like, let's say, ba. You have ba. Can you see now? You pronounce the consonant, then the vowel. All right? So, let's just keep this for the video on because it's taking time to explain how we got to have Abba. Because there is a dagesh. And remember that when there is a dagesh, it does not sound have again. It has to sound hab. All right? But then the dagesh also multiplies the letter, which I have explained better in the video on, or rather, which I will explain better in the video on the types of dagesh. So let's leave that. But what I'm saying is that in final letters, these letters change their form, the way they look. All right? Depending whether they are, depending on where they appear in a word. If they should appear in the beginning of a word, they keep the normal form that we have learned. Now you notice that when we were writing the letter, I only wrote one form for you, just one form for all of them, because apart from shin that I was telling you about the left and right, but shin is not even part of them because the form remains the same, just a dot on the right to change the sound. But what we are saying now is that we have some letters that changes their form. If they begin a word, they maintain a form. All right? If they're in the middle, they maintain that same form. But once they come at the end, they changes their form. That's why we call them final. When they come at the end, at the final part, they change their form. All right? It's also called solid. So now let's look at them. All right? For example, we have calf. We have calf. So let me write the main form that we know already. The main form and then the final form here. The final form. The main and the final form. This marker is also getting low, so I have to. Okay. The main and the final form. Now we have calf. Remember, it's looking like an opposite C. Calf. But when calf comes at the end of a word, it looks almost like a dalet. That's calf at the end. For example, we have the word melek, the word for king. So this is calf. This is mem, which is M. This is sego, remember, short E. This is lamed, L. This is short E again. And this is calf. Not dalet, because it looks like dalet. That would be this. After final letter now, we are going to be looking at the last type of letter, and you will get to know that there are some differences. All right. Now the number 2 is mem. This is the normal form, but in the final form, it looks more like a box. Mem. Now remember that I gave us a word in the last video where we looked at mayim, the word for water. Mayim. All right. So we have M-A. We have M. This is M. This is A. This is Y. This is I. The one dot is I. And then M again. So this is M and this is M. Because it's coming at the end, it changes to this style. All right. So we have mayim. So let me just write and leave writing out words. We're going to be learning vocabularies as we go on. Now, the one I told you earlier, melek. Since I've written it, melek means king. Melek means king. All right, so we have calf, we have mem. Right, number 3, we have noon. Noon looks like this in the normal form, but in the final form it looks like this. Also looking like calf and dalet, but they are not the same. Okay, so number 4, I think we have pay. We have pay. It's written like this in the normal form, remember? And the final form is looking like this. You know, this side that came up now comes down. You know, join it to the, just make it longer. It's still pay. This is pay. This is pain. When it appears at the end, only at the end though, of a word. That's what we call final form. Then the last one, let me just write it here. The number 5 is sad. Sad. For example, we want to write the word Sadiq, the word for righteousness. This is the letter that starts it. Sad. All right. But at the end, it is written like this. If it comes at the end, it is written like a Y in English. Sad, sad. The final form of sad. All right. Calf, calf, mem, mem, nun, nun, pay, pay, sad, sad. So these are the final letters. Remember that you can always get your handout. You will find everything in your handout. You can learn it better, get clarification, and practice them. Now, this introduces us to the last type of letters that we have in Igbo. Well, they are not really a type of letter, but they can still be classified under type because it's a division, more like a subtopic under the Hebrew letters. And then we call them what? Similar letters. Similar letters. Now, if you look at the way I've been writing the letters, you feel like, oh, they don't look similar. But if you should begin to read, and you see some font style, you will realize that they actually look alike. They look so much alike. For example, you have letters like Dalet, letter D, and Resh. In some places, the Resh, curves a little. The major difference you should know, Dalet also looks like the likes of the calf. But the difference is this: Dalet has a little, outer side here. It may not show like this, but it's always there. Even if it's small, it's always there. So that's Dalet. It comes out. While you see my leg does not have anything coming out. It's just like a 7. Now your range is always a little bit curve. Always a little bit curve. Alright? Yes, another one that you should look at. You have your bait. Sometimes your bait is written almost like this. And then your calf too. They look alike. Your bait and calf in the main form, they look alike. But another thing you should notice, just like Dalet, your bait will always come out a little. Alright? The line under here will always come out a little. Alright? Your bait and calf. Also, you have your Gimel and Nun. Let me clean this. You have your Gimel. See, they have been writing it right. And then your Nun. Sometimes your Gimel is written almost just like this. One way like that. And then your Nun. And then they kind of look alike. Some fonts, you may not see the closeness now, but I'm telling you, you need to pay attention and get to know the difference between them. Particularly is that your Gimel has, it may not be this long, but it's always like this, and it has a leg. Your Nun does not have a leg. That's the major difference. It has another leg outside, like a 2 leg, while your Nun just have the line may be curved like this, but it's not another leg. All right. Yeah. Your sad and ayin too looks alike. Sad and ayin, they look alike. Don't mistake them. Don't mistake them. This one has sound. This one does not have sound. Don't mistake them. They look alike, but they are not the same. Sad is not ayin. Sad is not ayin. And yeah, your zayin and vav, and your zayin and nun too. Your zayin, I've been writing it very big like this to show you the difference, but zayin can just be written just like this, and it's not really showing you, and it's looking almost the same thing like your vav. All right. So the best way for you to see these letters similarities is to get the handout. You're going to see all the types of letter there. That brings us to the end of the types of letters. So we have silent letters. We have guttural letters that are pronounced from the throat. Might be difficult, but we are going to learn it. We have the alternate letters. This one changes their form, their sound, depending whether there's a digress or not. We have the final letters that changes their form when they appear at the end of a word. And we have the similar letters that look so much alike. So for you not to make errors. And that's the reason why, like I said, when scribes are transcribing sometimes, some people say, there's one error, there's one. If you don't pay attention, sometimes you may go and mistake one for the other and then give out another word because what you're trying to write is not what you have written. The letter you're trying to write is not what you have written. So this is the end of today's class. See you in the next class. Bye.